In 2016, the archbishops and bishops of the Church of Ireland issued an appeal for funds to set up a flood relief scheme to be administered by the RCB. And at that time, the applications were assessed and grants made, but there remained a balance. And then in 2022, given the extensive flooding in the northwest and the south of our island, the RCB relaunched the fund and received some further applications. In February this year, given the extensive weather implications and wet weather that we've seen across the island, the RCB relaunched the fund. And one of the applications was Aughrim Parish in Wicklow. And the rector there, the Reverend Canon Suzanne Harris, and her parish had already come together to support their community. And our hope is that this RCB administered fund can further support this parish's initiative.
So when Storm Chandra struck, unfortunately, the rivers burst their banks in the local villages around the Wicklow Hills. And Aughrim alone, there was 3 housing estates very badly affected, and there was 56 houses in total flooded. So it was terrible loss for the people who were affected.
And when did you decide that you could access the flood relief grant that was available by the RCB, by the Church of Ireland?
So the morning the storm broke, we received an SOS from the Tidy Towns Committee, and they said they were setting up the local community centre as a hub because the civil defence were coming in to evacuate people from their homes. So we went down there for the week and we were serving tea and coffee and refreshments and giving people, dry clothes and towels and all the rest. And then about a week later, we got an email from the RCB, and it said that there was a flood relief grant, and it said it was for damage to your churches or damage to your parishioners' homes or damage to your communities. So when I saw that, I decided I would apply on behalf of the community of Aughrim. So I applied very kindly. They granted me a grant of €2,800, and that worked out at a €50 voucher for each of the 56 homes that was flooded.
And what was the reaction when you delivered the €50 worth of goods to the 56 households?
Yeah, they were delighted. Like they were, we went around, myself and a few parishioners went around delivering them door to door. And we had lovely chats on the door, and they were kind of blown away that we'd even thought about thinking of giving them a little donation. And it was only a little token because they lost so much. But we received lovely messages of thanks, and we had a chat with them on the doorstep saying, how are you getting on with the cleanup, and have you moved back into your home, and how's the damage going? And then also afterwards, I received thank you notes saying, what a caring gesture and how generous it was, and that it lifted their spirits in a time of terrible darkness. So it was nice, so it was, that the RCB were very kind to allow us to do this outreach to our community.
So it was money very well spent in your view?
It was very well spent.
What, in your view, again, would your take be on the actual grant scheme itself?
Well, I didn't even know it existed now. Like, luckily, the RCB sent the email about it. I didn't know such a thing existed, but I do think it was lovely for people to receive a small token, from the local church. I mean, they weren't necessarily parishioners. They were just living in the community. And I think it's a really nice way to help people who actually had suffered so badly from those storms. And most of those houses that were affected had been flooded 20 years ago, so they'd no flood insurance. So they've lost all their white goods, all their soft furnishings, they've lost a lot of money. And there is grants available from the local county council as well, but they're taking a long time to process. So I think it was very nice for us as a church and as a group of parishioners to be able to do this outreach and show our concern and our help in a small way.
Canon Harris, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.